Hello again. I hope to make a video quicker than I have gotten to make this one, but I honestly, again, was just kind of waiting to decide what I wanted to talk about. And in the aftermath of Kate Spade and what happened with her and just some different posts that I've seen online, I just can't help but feel the need to share my story so that maybe I can give some people some insight to the gray area that is those of us who have contemplated suicide. So in my last video, I touched on maybe the fact that I had gotten pretty depressed and just the anxiety and stuff that I suffer in my life. And while this isn't something that I go around talking about very often, and I try not to get too serious about, it is something that is very much a part of my story. Basically, because of my past, because of the stuff that I went through as a child, I didn't really have a lot of hope for a future that was much more than being what is classified in society as white trash. And I hate to say something like that because I think it's just a horrible way to describe people, even though I'm sure, have all been guilty of saying something similar about someone. But I just say that in that no one really expected me to amount to much of anything. I think there were people who had high hopes for me because they believed in me for whatever reason, but it just wasn't really like something that was expected. I wasn't expected to become anyone important. And I say that knowing full well that in many ways I'm still no one important. Not to most people. And I laugh because I feel like so many of us feel like we're not important. And that's where the world is. You know, you live in your bubble, you have your circle of connections, you have your family, hopefully, and maybe a good lot of friends that you can call on when you need someone. But really, I don't know a lot of people who think that they matter that much. So what does this have to do with anything, right? I guess it's really hard for someone who's never thought about killing themselves to put yourself in someone's shoes who has thought about it, or sadly enough, into someone's shoes who have gone through with it. None of us will ever understand what people are going through. You can grow up in a home with siblings and still have a completely different experience than that sibling or those siblings. That's just how that works. We all are individuals. We all go through our own stories. We're all living our lives. No one else is living our lives. You could have a twin and that twin is not going to be that identical to you. I don't care what anyone says. We all have our own experiences and we all take the information coming at us and deal with it differently. In my situation, growing up the way I did and just going through all the things that I went through and not having any hope for a future just really plagued me with a lot of self-doubt and self-worth issues. And I just definitely struggled with just feeling worthy of anything. I didn't feel worthy of love. I didn't feel worthy of a family, of a home. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to even really admit this stuff. It's just, because the thing is, my life is so drastically different now. But it took a long time to get here to where I am now. But for years, I struggled with the inner voices telling me all the things that I had heard growing up about how worthless I was, how stupid I was. Every bad thing that happened just escalated so much bigger inside my own head that I just felt like, why was I here? And even though I found someone who loved me, my husband loved me, and I had other people in my life who had loved me, it didn't make it better. It didn't make me feel like I mattered more. I didn't believe them, basically. I couldn't trust that that was real. And the only thing that I trusted or believed was that I really didn't matter and that the world would be better off without me. Gypsy doesn't like when I talk about this, evidently. So as I struggled, I got married and I was happy for a while, and then I wasn't. And then we had a baby and I was happy, but I wasn't. And we had another baby and I was happy, but I wasn't. And with each new thing that was going on in my life, I was further and further away from what I thought I was supposed to be doing. You know, I was 22 when I had my first child. I got married when I was 20. I had my first child at 22, and then another one by the time I was 24. 25 almost. And I just really struggled with the fact that I was 25 and didn't have a career, had no income of my own, had no education. Just, to me, all the things I was supposed to do, I didn't do. And I just felt like I fulfilled everyone's expectations. Like, even though I was married before I had kids, I still was worthless because I didn't have any sustainable means of my own. I couldn't stand on my own 2 feet, basically. If it wasn't for my husband, I would not have been able to have a house or have a car or have food on the table. And that really, really bothered me. And I struggled so hard to understand how it was okay for me not to have an education and not to be able to take care of myself. And at the same time, I was so fine with the idea of being with my children. I wanted to be with them. But those voices in my head from my past were just constantly nagging me. And I just felt like it didn't matter. And it was so hard to live far away from my family, even though my family isn't always the best place for me. It was so hard not to have them near me when I was having my kids. I didn't have anyone to help me. And my husband was busy, and I did what I could all the time on my own, and it was overwhelming. And it got to a place where I just was not okay. And I don't remember. I can't tell you the things that I said. I can't tell you even the words that I wrote because I got rid of them, but I wrote letters to my children and to my husband. And I can't remember if I wrote one to my mom, but I found letters later that basically were goodbye letters to people. I threw them away. I did not keep them. I didn't want to have that reminder around. But I do remember my mom being so scared that she got on a bus in Ohio and rode a bus for an entire day to get to me. I was in South Carolina at the time. And she came to stay with me and the kids to see if she could help me. She just thought maybe if she was there, she could help me. And it didn't really help. Like, I still wasn't okay. I was just struggling so much. And I was so sad and just so miserable. And mind you, my youngest at that time was only months old. He wasn't even a year old, I don't think. And the only thing that kept me from doing something that I wouldn't have been able to come back from was really just, I couldn't figure out how to do it that wouldn't be traumatic to the people around me. That was what kept me from doing something. It wasn't that I wanted to not leave them. It wasn't that I knew it was wrong. It wasn't that. It was really and truly just, I didn't want to slit my wrist because I didn't want them to clean up the mess. I didn't want to take pills and then take a chance of it not working. I didn't know how to do it in a way that would work, that wouldn't cause them more pain than just losing me. I had decided in my mind that them losing me wasn't that big a deal. And that's really, really scary to admit. And I literally have never talked about this in depth before, but I just feel like it's necessary to get it out there and for people to understand that there are some of us who have been there, who have been on the edge of how do I do this and not done it for whatever reason, but that didn't mean that the want to ever left. Okay. So during this time, evidently I had talked in such a way that it did scare my mom. It scared my cousin, who's one of my best friends. It scared my husband a little bit, to the point of when we went to the doctor, because I did go to a doctor finally I was just like, I don't know what else to do. I guess I'll go to the doctor and tell them what's wrong with me. And when they asked me if I ever considered it, and I just started crying and said, every day, truly, every day. For many years, that's what I wondered, is how can I just not wake up tomorrow? And I almost was praying for it at that point. Like I wasn't saved. I prayed like anybody who prays, might pray when you don't really go to church or anything like that. And I just remember just like hoping for it to just be over, for me to just not wake up. That's what I hoped. I hoped that it would just happen somehow magically. So my husband was worried enough that he listened to the doctor tell him, get everything out of your home. So at that time, any medications that were in the house were taken away. Like even the children's medicine was under lock and key. And my mom was there. And just things were in motion to help me get past this. So I was definitely on the edge. I was definitely to a place where it really was scary for those people, I'm sure. And I never really talked to my husband about it. I haven't really asked him too much about that time in our lives, because there was other stuff that was going on too that just made it even more complicated. And so I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to bring it up and make him feel those feelings again. But I want to talk about it now because so many people want to make comments or assume things about people like Kate Spade. We don't know what was going on. We can't even begin to understand. Now, where I stand, I will admit that a part of me is like, are you kidding me? You have this dream life. From the outside, from where we all look. Here's this woman who made her dreams come true, creating this company with these beautiful handbags and accessories and everything else. And we just can't imagine how she could be so unhappy. But the thing is, that's from the outside and we're not on the inside. And even those close to her are not on the inside. They don't know what's going on inside her head. And it's a devastating thing to be left behind without answers, because even if she left a letter, which I'm guessing she did, because I think I read somewhere she did, even if you leave a letter, it doesn't really give the whole story, and no one will ever fully feel like they understand what happened. So my mom took my kids from me for 2 weeks during all that. She finally was like, I'm taking the kids with me. We're going to go to Ohio. You come back and get them after you've gone to the doctor and gotten some help. And I was just like, you can't take them because they're the only thing holding me here. If you take them, what's going to happen to me? But I got help, and I was going to a church at that time, and I just went in and laid everything out on the table to the pastor and was like, this is what's going on, and I hate my life, and I am a horrible person, and I just don't want to be here anymore. And I'm sobbing. And he's looking at me like, what? What are you talking about? You're completely relevant to people. People want you. People need you. You're important. And you may not feel important right now, but you're important and people need you. And he just started talking to me and started to explain God and the love that God has for all of us. And maybe you don't believe in God. Someone who's watching this may be like, but I don't believe in God and whatever. Okay, fine, that's you. But for this person, me, I believed in him. I've always believed in God and heaven and hell. I just didn't know what that really meant for me until this moment in my life. And in this moment of my life, it was like the only thing aside from my children that kept me here on this earth. And it was that point in time in my life that I got saved and I gave my life to Christ. And I've been trying to live up to that forever since. I've just always been trying to be the best person I can be. And I fail daily. And the reason why I say that is because those voices in my head did not go away because I got saved. It wasn't a magic button. I didn't get all better. You know, it took years and years and years of counseling, of tried and failed medication, more therapy. I mean, just so much. And through it, oh my gosh, like the things that I had to go through, I'm really stubborn and I'm really stupid sometimes, and I make really bad decisions because I don't think about other people sometimes. I'm super selfish. And sometimes when I'm feeling so bad about myself, I would just do things to try and make myself feel better, and I would hurt the people that I love, mainly my husband. I fail daily. I fail all the time. And through the years since that moment, I would say it's been a struggle. And I'm really lucky that I'm here. And I'm really, really lucky that I have a husband who forgave me, who gave me a second chance after second chance. I am so blessed with children who luckily were oblivious to that part of life. I think they've seen my depression, but I don't think that they really fully understood how bad things were because they were so young at the time. But honestly, like even just 3 years ago, it was a struggle. And I just remember thinking, I should have done it a long time ago. It is that real. And I feel like there's probably a lot more people out there like me who kind of live in that gray area. That's what I call it. You know, people think everything's so black and white in this world, but there is so much gray area. Oh my goodness. And as much as it should be black and white, it's not. And, you know, it's easy to say, well, you have a husband and a family and this, that, and the other. None of that matters. None of that matters. It's just this inner voice you have. I truly and completely believe that I constantly have demons after me. And if you don't believe in God and don't read your Bible, you won't understand that. But I totally believe in that. I totally believe that there are evil forces against my being here. And I totally believe that that is the one area where they try and trip me up, is by messing with my worth and making me feel like I don't matter. You know, that was back when I was only 25 years old that all took place. I'm 40 now, and I gotta be real honest, I don't feel like I matter any more today than I did back then. The only thing that I can say is it's okay. It's okay that I don't matter to a lot of people. It's okay that I'm a mom. It's okay that I'm a wife. You know, sometimes I hate that I don't have a career. I think about some of my friends who are my age and they've had the same job for 12 years. And I'm like, I can't even begin to imagine that, because that's never going to be something that happens in my life. I mean, I guess technically I could stay at this job for 10 more years, but oh, please, like, no. I mean, I would hope that I would find something a little more suited for what I like doing more. Like, I love my job, but at the same time, like, I would like to do a little bit more focused on art than what I do. I don't know. But still, like, I just, like, I know that me working at a job for 12 years in this reality that I'm in is probably not going to happen because I'm 40, and it's okay. It's okay if I don't have a career. It's okay that I have a college education now. It's okay that I use it to have a part-time job and not a career. It's okay. I'm okay with that because I have kids and I have a husband and I have a house to take care of. And I may not matter to a lot of people, but I matter to the people who need me. And I'm the type of person who will try very, very hard to make sure those people that I come in contact with are having an okay day. If I see someone struggling, I'm going to try and make sure that they're okay. Even if I maybe don't like the person very much, I'm still going to make sure they're okay. And I think that has to do with the fact that I live in the gray area. I live in this place of I'm okay today. You know, it took me a really, really, really long time to get to a place where I am okay. 3 years ago, I thought I was going to be okay, but really I was just masking all my hurt by trying to fill it with whatever I could. And it took a lot for me to let go of the hurt and forgive myself. It took a lot for me to get to a place where I was okay just being just me, just not that special me. You know, a lot of people out there have really amazing talents, and a lot of people have a lot of money, and a lot of people out there are famous or they're rich or all the different things that you can say, you know. It doesn't mean they're happy, and it doesn't mean that they're okay. And they may live in gray area, and maybe, you know, Kate Spade has been living there this whole time and she just couldn't get out of it. And that's sad. And it's sad for her family, and it's sad for her friends and everyone who loved her. And it's sad for her because she was so young and had so much more to give, I'm sure. But it's really, unfortunately, the reality of this issue. You know, there are a lot of movies, TV shows, all kinds of things that talk about suicide and suicide prevention, and it's great that people are talking about it, you know. And I definitely plan on getting the semicolon tattooed on my hand or wrist somewhere. I think it's important. I think it's important to talk about it. I think it's important to share. I hope that someone hears us and sees that I'm still here and that it's okay and it gets better. And especially from when you're young, because let me tell you, when I was young and I was scared to my core almost daily and hiding under my desk and praying that, you know, no one would die and everyone would be safe. When I was struggling because a cousin had gotten murdered. When I was struggling because I got molested and no one believed me, or I didn't tell anyone, and then no one believed me when I did tell someone. When I was struggling because I found out my dad wasn't my dad. I mean, there's been so many huge, huge things that I had to overcome. I never thought I would be happy. I never thought that I could have a life that was worth anything. And it may have taken me a really long time to get there and to see it, but I see it. I see that I do have this like life that some people envy, and I think they're crazy. Oh my goodness. I have some friends in my life who, God bless them, they'll be like, you're so this or you're so that, and I just wish I was like that. And I'm just like, I'm a mess. No one should want to be like me. Like, God love ya. If you think, you know, that you like my clothes, or you are impressed by what I do for a living, or you love my house, whatever it is, like, I'm a mess. Like, don't try and be like me. I am a mess. For real. But it's funny how people will say those things that we just kind of are like, whatever. But they mean it. And it's something we should pay attention to. I think it's important to pay attention to that because they're being honest. If someone is taking the time to tell you something like that, they're not lying to you. I've never had someone tell me something like that and it been a lie. I don't think ever. And it's just to put yourself in perspective and make you realize, hey, it's not as bad as you keep making it yourself think it is. It's not that bad. Your life will get better. I, honest to goodness, never thought I would be where I am today, living in a house that is so much better than anything I ever dreamed of, and married to the same man and with our 3 children who are ridiculously amazing. They're so talented and so adorable. I mean, I can't even say enough nice things about them. They drive me crazy because they're children. Let's be real. But they're amazing. And I made those people. Like, that's so crazy that I made them with the help of my husband and God, whatever. But still, they were inside my belly. And it's just, I can look at that stuff now and I can realize how blessed I am and how God has just really helped me get through to the other side. It's not perfect and it's not pretty all the time. And, any given day, especially lately, I might ugly cry over something that I have no control over. And I just am ugly crying. And my husband just looks at me like, I don't know what to do. He just has to let me cry. I'm just kind of living life. And I live it and I'm grateful for it. And I'm thankful that in every horrible situation that I faced in my 40 years so far, that I was able to find any reason to stay here. Even if it was simply like, oh, I have to go here today, so I can't do anything like that today. Like whatever the reason was. Like, I'm sure that over the years there have been things that I maybe even was just like, well, I'm afraid to do that, so I'm not going to do that. That was probably a big one growing up was, well, I can't do that. I don't know how to make that happen. I'm glad that I didn't make it happen. I'm glad I'm still here. I'm beyond grateful for the opportunity to share this with anyone who will listen, because I think it's important. I really do. And I hope that you take it and you understand that I'm not sharing this for a pity party. I don't want a pity party. I just want people to understand that there is this gray area that so many people live in. And they could smile and laugh all the time. Let me explain that to you. Oh my goodness. I can sit and tell you my life story and I can smile the whole way through. The whole way through. The one thing that you might say back to me that would make me cry as I'm telling you the story is if you remotely try and tell me that you love me or anything positive about myself. I will probably ugly cry because I don't like to hear that very often. I don't do well with it. I really struggle when people talk about Jesus loving me, even though I know he does. I will ugly cry every time because I still struggle with feeling worthy and believing it, because the fathers in my life really messed me up, plain and simple. But I just wanted to get on here and I just wanted to do this video and make it just very real and just let you guys understand that it's not black and white. And there is a gray area. And too many of us live there daily. So pay attention to people and take what they say seriously, and don't get so caught up in your own life that you can't check on your friends and your family members. And just be kind and love people, and don't let them ever feel like they're alone. That is probably one of the biggest things, is never let them feel alone. So that's all I've got to say about this. I really was hoping to do a little less serious of a topic for my second video, but in the wake of everything and just some of the posts I've seen, I just felt like God was sort of being like, okay, you're gonna have to talk about this, because sometimes when something's bothering me so much, I feel like that's when I have to for sure talk about it. So I hope you guys take what I say to heart and just understand this is my story. If you have anything you want to talk about, I'm always there to listen. Just like this video if it spoke to you, or if you think that it might speak to someone else, share it. And I'll be back for another talk later.